Subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment your thoughts. The metallic tang of fear was almost as strong as the antiseptic clinging to Amelia Clark's cleaning uniform. Her hands, usually steady, trembled as she pressed the doorbell of the most imposing mansion she'd ever seen. At 26, after losing her job at the local cleaning company, this was her last desperate shot at earning enough for her diabetic mother's medication. A woman, elegantly cold and in her mid-40s, answered, "You will only clean the ground floor. The second floor is restricted. Mr. Harrington doesn't permit noise near his daughter's room." Amelia nodded, intimidated by the sheer opulence. Each piece of furniture in this house was worth more than everything she owned combined. 2 hours later, as she meticulously polished the marble staircase, a desperate sob echoed from upstairs. It was a child's cry, but unlike any she'd heard, it was the sound of a shattered soul. Amelia froze, her heart clenching. She knew that cry. It was how she'd cried when she lost her own father. Against all orders, she ascended the stairs. The wailing came from the master suite's bathroom. The door was locked from the inside. "Hello, sweetie, is everything okay in there?" Amelia knocked gently. The crying paused for a second, then resumed even louder. "Go away! I don't want anyone to see me like this." The voice was that of a small girl, but laden with immense pain. Amelia sat on the floor, leaning against the door. "You know, when I was little, I used to hide in the bathroom too when I was sad." She paused, letting her words sink in. "Can I stay here with you?" "Lantua," then, the click of the lock turning. The door slowly opened, and Amelia saw a 7-year-old girl, completely bald, clutching a blonde wig in her hands. Tears streamed down her delicate face, and she shook her head desperately. "I'm ugly. I'm horrible. I look like a boy." Amelia's heart broke. The girl was clearly undergoing cancer treatment. Without a second thought, she entered the bathroom and knelt to the child's height. "You're not ugly, sweetie. You're bald, and you know what we can do with a smooth, bald head like this?" The girl stopped crying, curious. Amelia picked up a colorful pen from the sink. "We can turn it into the most beautiful sky in the world." She began to draw small, colorful butterflies across the girl's scalp. A blue one near her left ear, a pink one on her forehead, a yellow one on the nape of her neck. "Now you have the most beautiful butterflies flying on your head," Amelia whispered, finishing the last drawing. "They're going to give you all the strength in the world." The girl ran to the mirror and for the first time in months, smiled. A genuine, enchanted smile. "They're magical, aren't they?" "The most magical of all," Amelia confirmed, touched by the transformation. It was at this exact moment that Mr. Arthur Harrington appeared in the bathroom doorway. Arthur froze on the threshold. After 8 months of seeing his daughter cry every day, refusing to leave her room, having nightmares about her appearance, there was Sophia smiling in the mirror. Truly smiling. His eyes turned to the unknown woman kneeling beside his daughter. A cleaner, by her uniform. But there was something in the delicacy of her gestures, in the tenderness in her eyes, that made his heart inexplicably race. "Daddy, look!" Sophia ran to him, radiant. "Amelia made magical butterflies on my head. Now I'm not ugly anymore." With a pounding heart, Arthur knelt and hugged his daughter, trying to control his surprise. "You were never ugly, my love. Never." His eyes met Amelia's, who quickly stood, clearly embarrassed. "I'm sorry, sir. I know I shouldn't be up here, but she was crying and I—" Amelia stammered, fearing she'd be fired on her first day. "No," Arthur interrupted, his voice choked. Thank you so much." He couldn't take his eyes off her. "I haven't seen Sophia like this in 8 months. Happy, alive." The doorbell rang downstairs. "That must be Dr. Evelyn," Arthur murmured, still mesmerized by his daughter's transformation. Minutes later, Dr. Evelyn Thorne ascended the stairs with her usual cold elegance. At 45, she was considered the country's best pediatric oncologist. She was also the woman who had secretly loved Arthur for 5 years, ever since she was his supervisor during his hospital administration residency. Evelyn had always disguised her professional feelings. After Arthur's wife died in childbirth 2 years ago, leaving 5-year-old Sophia motherless, she grew closer, offering free medical care when the cancer was diagnosed. In truth, it was an excuse to be near him, hoping he would one day realize the love she felt. "How's our little warrior today?" Evelyn asked with her usual professional smile. But when she saw Sophia with symbols drawn on her head, her smile froze. "Dr. Evelyn, look how pretty." Sophia spun, proud. "Amelia made magical butterflies for me." Evelyn's eyes fixed on Amelia with a dangerous glint, an intruder, a threat. In a few minutes, this simple woman had achieved what she, with all her medicine, hadn't in months, made Sophia light up with happiness. "How interesting," Evelyn commented, forcing a neutral tone. "I hope the ink is safe. Children's skin during chemotherapy is extremely sensitive. Any chemical product can cause serious complications." Amelia paled. It's just a regular pen, doctor. I thought—" Of course. You didn't know," Evelyn interrupted with a condescending smile. "Arthur, perhaps it's best to instruct the household staff on the necessary care for Sophia. An infection now would be catastrophic." Arthur looked between the two women, confused. Sophia's joy was evident, but Evelyn's words planted a seed of doubt. "Perhaps we should wash—" "No!" Sophia screamed, clutching her head. "My butterflies will go away. They give me strength." Amelia knelt again. "The butterflies will stay here." She touched Sophia's chest, over her heart. "And tomorrow, if you want, we'll make new ones." Sophia calmed down, but hugged Amelia tightly. "Promise?" "I promise." As everyone left the bathroom, Evelyn lingered for a moment, observing Amelia with calculating eyes. She whispered to herself, "This won't stand." The next morning, Arthur woke to a sound he hadn't heard in months, laughter coming from Sophia's room. Surprised, he rushed there and found his daughter sitting in bed, showing her faded butterflies to Amelia. "They're disappearing, Amy. You said you'd make new ones." Amelia smiled and picked up a pen. "Of course, but today we're going to make different butterflies. This blue one will give you courage to take your medicine. This pink one will make you dream beautiful dreams. And this golden one," she drew carefully near Sophia's ear, "this one will make you remember you're a princess." Sophia ran to the mirror and chanted, "Now I can take my medicine. The blue butterfly will protect me." For the first time in 8 months, Sophia took all her medication without complaining. Later, she asked to play in the garden, something she had avoided since losing her hair. Arthur watched from afar, deeply moved. When Amelia finished cleaning the living room, he approached hesitantly. "I need to speak with you." Amelia tensed, thinking she would be reprimanded. "I want you to come every day. Officially for cleaning, but—" He hesitated. "Actually, to take care of Sophia. I'll pay double what we agreed." "Sir, I'm not trained to care for sick children. You have something far more valuable than any diploma. You understand her." Arthur looked into her eyes. "In 2 days, you achieved what doctors and psychologists couldn't in 8 months." Amelia accepted, as if in a dream. It was more money than she had ever dreamed of earning. That night, after Sophia fell asleep, Arthur and Amelia talked in the living room. Gradually, he discovered that she had dropped out of her 3rd year of education studies when her father died, and she needed to support her diabetic mother. "I always wanted to work with children," she confessed, "but life took me down another path." "Perhaps life is giving you a second chance," Arthur suggested, offering some education books from his personal library. When Amelia reached for the books, their hands accidentally touched. For a moment, both were paralyzed, feeling an inexplicable connection. Outside the window, Evelyn watched the scene through the curtains. She had arrived for an emergency consultation she herself had fabricated, her heart filled with hatred and jealousy. She pulled out her phone and scheduled a meeting with other doctors for the next day. Sophia appeared on the stairs in her pajamas, rubbing her eyes. "Daddy, is Amelia going to live here with us?" Arthur choked on his coffee. Amelia blushed violently. She's a very special person, my love," Arthur replied, unable to take his eyes off Amelia. Sophia clapped her hands. "Then I can have butterflies every day." A week passed. Amelia created a special ritual. Every morning, she drew new symbols on Sophia, each with a different meaning. The girl's transformation impressed even the hospital doctors. She started eating well again. She accepted her medication without resistance and even made friends with the neighborhood children, proud of her magical marks. Arthur began coming home earlier from work, making excuses to spend time at home. Officially, it was to monitor Sophia's improvement. In truth, he felt inexplicably drawn to Amelia. She was different from all the women in his social circle. Genuine, caring, intelligent, despite her limited formal education. When she spoke about education, her eyes shone with a passion Arthur thought no longer existed in the world. "Children don't need pity, they need understanding," Amelia explained while organizing Sophia's toys. Each one has their own special way of seeing the world. Gradually, Arthur offered more books from his library, this time on child psychology and play therapy. When Amelia reached for them, their hands met again. This time, neither of them pulled away immediately. "Arthur," Amelia whispered, but was interrupted by Evelyn's arrival. "I hope I'm not interrupting anything important," Evelyn commented with a frosty smile. She had been visiting the house daily now, always finding medical excuses for unscheduled consultations. Arthur didn't question it. After all, she was a family friend offering free care. During Sophia's examination, Evelyn skillfully planted poisonous seeds with surgical precision. "Arthur, I've been talking to colleagues about Sophia's case. There's growing concern about unprofessional influences in the treatment of oncology children." "What kind of concern?" Arthur asked defensively. "Children undergoing cancer treatment are extremely emotionally vulnerable. They can develop inappropriate dependencies on people who are not qualified to deal with the psychological complexity of the disease." Arthur frowned. "Sophia is better than ever. For now, yes. But what if this person is no longer here? The trauma could be devastating. It's common in our field to have to deal with children who become dependent on nannies, caregivers, people who eventually leave their lives. The result is always traumatic." Evelyn's words echoed in Arthur's mind all night. For the first time, he questioned whether he was doing the right thing. The next day, Sophia showed her new butterflies to the neighborhood children, who were fascinated. "Amelia said each color has a special power," she explained radiantly. But Arthur observed the scene with new eyes, sown with doubt. What if Evelyn was right? What if he was putting Sophia at emotional risk? Evelyn, hidden behind the fence, photographed Sophia showing the drawings to other children. She smiled maliciously. These photos would be useful very soon. Evelyn called an urgent meeting with 3 oncologist colleagues at the hospital. She presented the photos of Sophia with the butterflies drawn on her head, but with a completely distorted context. "Look what's happening to our patient," she said, feigning professional concern. A domestic employee, without any medical qualification, is applying chemical substances to the skin of a child with a compromised immune system. Dr. Robert Davis, an experienced oncologist, examined the photos. "Evelyn, they look like harmless drawings with a regular pen. Robert, you know that the skin of children undergoing chemotherapy reacts unpredictably to any external agent. Furthermore, there's the psychological issue. The child is developing a worrying emotional dependence on this woman." Dr. Sarah Miller, a psycho-oncologist, hesitated. "If the child is responding well to treatment for now," Evelyn interrupted, But we are setting a dangerous precedent. What if other families start allowing domestic staff to interfere with treatment? Where does our medical responsibility lie? She skillfully manipulated each argument, using professional ego and fear of lawsuits to convince her colleagues. She fabricated subtle evidence, photos of irritations that were just shadows of light, reports of dependent behavior based on distorted observations. At the end of the meeting, she got them to sign a report expressing collective medical concern about Sophia's situation. That afternoon, Evelyn went to the mansion with the report in hand. She found Arthur in his office, clearly disturbed by the questions she had been planting for days. "Arthur, I need to show you something very serious." She placed the report on the table. "My colleagues are concerned about Sophia. I can no longer ignore the risks." Arthur read the document, his stomach sinking. 4 renowned doctors expressing concern about unqualified interference in his daughter's treatment. "What are you suggesting? That you remove this woman from Sophia's presence for your daughter's sake?" Evelyn approached, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Arthur, I know you've grown fond of her. It's natural. She's charismatic. But Sophia needs professional care, not emotional experiments." At that moment, Amelia entered the room, bringing coffee. She immediately sensed the tension in the air. "Amelia," Arthur called her, trying to keep his voice firm. "I need to talk to you." He showed her the report, explaining the medical concerns. Amelia paled as she read the words: risk of complications, inappropriate interference, harmful psychological dependence. "But, sir, Sophia is doing so well. She's eating, taking her medicine, going to her hospital sessions without resistance." I know, and I'm grateful for everything you've done, but the doctors say there are risks we can't see. If something happened to her," Amelia began to cry. "Please, let me at least say goodbye to her. It would be more traumatic for her and for you." Evelyn appeared at the door, feigning sadness. "I'm so sorry, dear. I know you've grown fond of Sophia, but she needs professional care now." With trembling hands, Amelia gathered her belongings. Upstairs, Sophia was in her room, waiting for her morning butterflies. "Amy, where are you? I'm awake," her little voice called from the stairs. Amelia stopped at the door, her eyes full of tears. Arthur couldn't look at her, consumed by guilt and fear. At least tell her I didn't want to leave." She left the mansion crying, while Sophia screamed from her bedroom window. "Amy! Amy! You're back! Where are my butterflies? I need my butterflies!" Evelyn watched the scene with thinly veiled satisfaction. Finally, that threat had been eliminated. Now Arthur had no more distractions, and Sophia, once again, depended completely on her medical care. 2 weeks passed since Amelia was dismissed. Sophia hadn't left her room once. She refused to eat, spit out her medication, and began scratching her scalp until it bled, desperate to find the butterflies that had disappeared. "My butterflies are gone. Without them, I won't get better," she screamed when Arthur tried to give her medicine. "I want Amy. Where's Amy?" Arthur felt his chest tighten with each question. "My love, Amy had to leave, but you'll be okay." Liar. She promised she'd never abandon me. She lied just like Mommy. Mommy said she'd come back and she didn't. The words hit Arthur like daggers. Sophia was regressing emotionally, connecting Amelia's departure with her mother's death. He tried to calm her, but she pushed him away. "You sent her away. I don't like you anymore." Meanwhile, Amelia had returned to her old job at a cleaning company, earning a third of what she received at the mansion. But she couldn't concentrate on anything. Her hands trembled as she cleaned, and she constantly found herself thinking of Sophia. Anna Reed, her nurse friend of 3 years, worked at St. Vincent's Hospital, the same one where Sophia was undergoing her oncology treatment. They had met when Amelia cleaned the hospital premises at her previous company. One day, Anna found Amelia crying at the bus stop after work. "Amelia, I haven't seen you in weeks. What happened? You look distraught." Between sobs, Amelia told her everything. Anna was disturbed. "That doesn't make sense. I've worked in pediatric oncology for 8 years. Drawings with regular pens are harmless." But the doctors said, "And which doctors? Who signed this report?" Amelia showed her the photos she had taken of the document on her phone. Anna recognized the names but frowned. "Amelia, I know these professionals. Dr. Davis would never be concerned about pen drawings. And you said the girl's name is Sophia?" "Yes." "Yeah, Sophia Harrington." Anna's face transformed. "Amelia, a girl with that name was brought to the hospital yesterday. She's admitted to my ward, bald, 7 years old, in a weakened state. She kept repeating one name, Amy." Amelia's blood ran cold. "Anna, do you think you need to know the truth about this situation? Leave it to me." That night, Sophia had a severe crisis. She fainted in the bathroom while scratching her head. Arthur found her on the floor, with blood on her fingers and a high fever. Sophia was admitted to St. Vincent's Hospital in a weakened state. She had visibly lost weight in the past 2 weeks. She was dehydrated and had developed a mild infection in the scratches on her head. More seriously, she adamantly refused to cooperate with any treatment. "I want Amy. Only Amy can give me my medicine," she screamed at all the nurses. "Without the butterflies, I'll die." Arthur didn't leave her bedside, distressed. He pleaded, promised toys, trips, anything. But Sophia turned her face to the wall and whispered only, "Butterflies. I want my butterflies." Evelyn appeared at the hospital, feigning deep concern. "Arthur, I warned you this could happen. The emotional dependence she created with that woman is causing severe psychological trauma. But she's refusing to eat, Evelyn. She won't take her medicine. It's a difficult but necessary process. Sophia needs to learn to be independent. With time and proper psychological support, she will overcome it." Internally, Evelyn felt a pang of guilt seeing Sophia so fragile. But her wounded pride was stronger. She convinced herself she was doing the right thing, eliminating an inappropriate influence. Anna, who supervised the night shift, observed Sophia with growing concern. The girl was not just a patient. She reminded Anna of her own niece at the same age, seeing Sophia cry alone in the dark, whispering, "Amy, why did you abandon me?" Anna felt her heart break. During her break, she tried to call Amelia, but the call dropped. She only managed to send a message. Sophia admitted, concerning condition, "Need to talk to you." Dr. Davis, who was monitoring the case, examined Sophia with growing unease. He pulled Arthur aside. "Arthur, I need to be direct. If Sophia doesn't accept proper medication and nutrition, we'll have complications. The infection on her head could worsen, and she's dehydrated. What do I do? She only asks for a person the doctor said was harmful." Dr. Davis hesitated. "Arthur, about that report, can I see the evidence that based our recommendation again?" Arthur explained about the photos of the irritations. Dr. Davis asked to see them, but Evelyn claimed they were on her office computer. "Doctor," Arthur insisted, "my daughter was happy for the first time in months. Now she's like this. Could we have been too hasty?" Dr. Davis didn't respond, but a seed of doubt had been planted. Arthur spent the night awake in the hospital, watching Sophia burn with a low fever and refuse to eat. For the first time, he seriously questioned whether he had made the right decision. The next morning, he returned home to shower and change. In Sophia's room, he found the notebook where she used to draw with Amelia. Each page told a story. Butterflies with dates. Small notes from Amelia explaining the meaning of each color. Drawings Sophia made herself, trying to imitate Amy's style. One page deeply moved him. Sophia had drawn a family, a man, a woman, and a girl. Below, in careful child's handwriting, was written, "Daddy, Amy, me and butterfly family." Arthur felt a mixture of emotion and guilt. He picked up his laptop and researched common pen inks on children. It took time, but all results indicated that common pens were completely safe for skin. Then he researched emotional dependence in oncology children. To his surprise, the article spoke about the importance of emotional support, about how caring figures help in recovery. A study by the National Society of Pediatric Oncology mentioned that children undergoing cancer treatment who receive consistent emotional support have a significantly higher treatment adherence rate. Confused and disturbed, Arthur decided to investigate further. He tried to call Dr. Davis, but the secretary said he was in surgery. He tried the other doctors on the report. Dr. Mark Jones answered after persistence. "Arthur, you need to understand that I trusted Dr. Thorne's judgment. She presented convincing photographic evidence." "What photographic evidence?" "Photos showing skin irritation on Sophia where the drawings were made." Arthur frowned. "Doctor, can I ask a direct question? Have you personally ever seen common pen drawings cause problems in children?" A long pause. "Well, no, frankly I haven't, but Dr. Thorne is very respected." Arthur hung up, disturbed. He called Dr. Emily White, the psycho-oncologist. "Doctor, regarding the report you signed, what exactly was the evidence of harmful psychological dependence?" "Arthur, I based it on Dr. Thorne's observations. She mentioned obsessive behaviors, refusal to interact with other caregivers. But Sophia always interacted normally with me, with you, with other doctors. She just especially liked Amelia." Another awkward silence. Perhaps we should reevaluate the case." Arthur returned to the hospital with a growing certainty. He had been deceived, but he needed concrete evidence. Arthur found Anna during the shift change. She recognized him immediately. "Mr. Harrington, I'm Anna, the night shift supervisor. I'm taking care of Sophia." "How is she?" Anna looked around, then whispered, "Can I speak frankly? She's not like this because of psychological trauma. She's grieving. She lost someone she loved. But the doctors said, Mr. Harrington, I've worked with children for 8 years. Sophia doesn't need less affection. She needs more. And this Amelia, I know her. She's one of the most caring people I've ever met." Anna told him how she met Amelia when she cleaned the hospital. She always stopped to talk to the hospitalized children. They adored her. Arthur felt a wave of remorse. "Anna, I need to find Amelia and beg for her forgiveness, but I don't know where she lives. I know where she works now. Total Clean Solutions in Willow Creek." Arthur left the hospital in the middle of the night with one certainty. He needed to correct the biggest mistake of his life. He went to the company and waited in the parking lot. When he saw Amelia getting off the bus at 6:30 in the morning, his heart ached. She was visibly thinner, with deep dark circles under her eyes, her uniform simpler than the previous one. She looked like a shadow of herself. "Amelia," she turned, surprised and apprehensive. "Sir, Arthur, what are you doing here? I need to talk to you. It's about Sophia." Amelia's face transformed into panic. "Is she okay? What happened?" "She's hospitalized. She's very ill." Amelia leaned against the pole, her legs trembling. "I knew it. I felt something was wrong. How is she? Oh, she hasn't eaten in 2 weeks. She won't take medicine. Developed an infection. She just cries and asks for you." Tears began to stream down Amelia's face. "I want to see her, but the doctor said—" "Amelia," Arthur interrupted, his voice choked. "I made the biggest mistake of my life. The doctors, I think they lied. There was no risk in your drawings. I was a fool who chose to distrust you instead of trusting what I saw with my own eyes." Amelia was shocked. What are you saying?" "I'm asking for your forgiveness, on my knees if I have to. Sophia is wasting away because she lost you. And I also lost the most special person I've met." The words came from Arthur's heart. For the first time, he admitted not only his mistake, but his true feelings. "Mr. Arthur, just Arthur. And please forgive me. Forgive a desperate father who almost lost his daughter out of fear and foolish pride. Amelia wiped her tears. I never blamed you. You were trying to protect Sophia, but Can I see her? You can save her. Only you can. But how? The hospital doctors, security. Anna will help us. She has access. And she agrees that Sophia needs you. Amelia looked at the cleaning company building. Then at Arthur. There was no choice. Sophia needed her. Shall we go? Anna explained the plan carefully. As a shift supervisor, she had access to temporary badges for interns during emergencies. The risk was real. If discovered, she could lose her job and face ethical proceedings. Anna, you don't have to risk yourself for us, Arthur insisted. Yes, I do. I've been a nurse for 15 years. I know when a child is dying inside. Sophia won't last much longer. During the 6 a.m. shift change, when there was more movement and less control, Anna managed to register Amelia as a play therapy consultant, a role that technically existed at the hospital. You have 20 minutes before Dr. Thorne arrives for her shift, Anna whispered. And if anyone asks, you're doing a psychological evaluation. Arthur stayed at the reception, nervous, while Amelia went up to Sophia's room. Amelia entered the room and saw Sophia for the first time in 2 weeks. Her heart broke. The girl was visibly thinner, pale, with a bandage on her head where she had hurt herself. She slept restlessly, murmuring in the delirium of a low fever. Amy, where are you? I need the butterflies. I can't do it without them. Amelia approached the bed with tears in her eyes. She took a colorful pen from her bag and, delicately, drew a small blue butterfly on Sophia's arm, away from the medical equipment. Sophia, my love, Amy is back, she whispered, softly singing the song she always sang. Sophia's eyes slowly opened. For a moment, she thought she was dreaming. Then, a faint but genuine smile appeared on her face. Amy, you're back! I knew you hadn't really abandoned me. Never, my love, never will I abandon you. Sophia tried to sit up, still weak. You disappeared. I looked for the butterflies on my head, but they were gone. They never left, sweetie. They were here. Amelia touched Sophia's chest, waiting for you to get strong again. Amy, I couldn't take my medicine. Without the butterflies, they don't work. Amelia picked up the cup of medication on the table. How about I draw a golden butterfly right here on your wrist? It will give special power to the medicine. For the first time in 2 weeks, Sophia accepted the medication. Then, she asked for water. Then, a cracker. Amy, are you going to stay with me now? I'm going to stay, my love. Arthur watched from the door, deeply moved. In 15 minutes, Amelia had achieved what 2 weeks of doctors and medicine couldn't, make Sophia want to fight again. But Anna appeared at the door, tense. Dr. Thorne arrived early. She's coming here, and she looks upset. Arthur felt panic. If Evelyn discovered Amelia there, she would cause a scandal that could jeopardize everything. Amelia, you need to leave. No! Sophia grabbed Amelia's hand with surprising strength. She can't leave again. Amelia looked at Arthur, torn. Sophia, I'll be back, I promise. But now I need to hide for a little bit. Why? Why do you have to hide? Before anyone could answer, quick footsteps echoed in the corridor. Evelyn appeared at the room door. What on earth is happening here? Evelyn stopped at the threshold, her eyes fixed on Amelia, with a fury she could barely control. How did this woman get in here? This is a serious violation of all hospital protocols. Dr. Thorne, I can explain, Arthur began, instinctively positioning himself between Evelyn and Amelia. There's no explanation. This is hospital invasion, exposure of a vulnerable patient to external contamination. Evelyn picked up her phone. I'm calling security and the board immediately. No! Sophia screamed from the bed, surprising everyone with the strength of her voice. Amelia can't leave. She brought my butterflies back. For the first time in 2 weeks, Sophia was sitting up in bed, alert, with color in her face. The transformation was evident to anyone with eyes. Sophia, dear, this woman is not qualified to take care of you. Evelyn tried to approach the bed. You're mean. Sophia interrupted her with surprising firmness. Amelia makes me feel good. You only give me bitter medicine. Dr. Davis appeared at the door, alerted by the noise. What's going on here? Evelyn pointed at Amelia. This woman invaded the hospital using false documentation and is contaminating our patient with unauthorized chemical substances. Doctor. Dr. Davis looked at Sophia, who was visibly better, holding Amelia's hand. Then he looked at Arthur. Arthur, can you explain the situation? Doctor, this is Amelia, the person who took care of Sophia at home, the person you said was harming my daughter. Dr. Davis quickly examined Sophia. She cooperated, let him check her temperature, pulse, answered questions lucidly. Sophia, how are you feeling? Better, doctor. Amelia came back and brought the magical butterflies. Now I can take my medicine. Dr. Davis looked at the small butterflies drawn on Sophia's arm. Then at Evelyn. Dr. Thorne, are these the chemical substances causing contamination? Doctor, the protocol. The protocol says we should do what's best for the patient. And clearly this child is responding positively to this person's presence. Anna approached. Dr. Davis, can I give my professional testimony? I took care of Sophia for 2 weeks. She was in constant decline. In 15 minutes, with this lady, she took medication spontaneously and is interacting normally. Other nurses who had gathered at the door confirmed with nods. Dr. Davis turned to Evelyn with a serious expression. Dr. Thorne, I need to review this case. Where is the concrete medical evidence that this person was causing harm to the patient? Evelyn found herself cornered. Doctor, there are questions of protocol, of medical responsibility, of... There's a more important question. Dr. Davis interrupted her. The patient's health. And from what I'm observing, this patient was wasting away without this person and is improving with her. Arthur felt a wave of relief, but he knew the battle wasn't over yet. Evelyn was losing control, and desperate people are unpredictable. Dr. Thorne, Arthur said with a firm voice, I need to see the photographic evidence of the skin irritations you showed to the other doctors. Evelyn hesitated, her face losing color. Arthur, this is irrelevant now. It's not irrelevant. My daughter almost died based on that evidence. I want to see them. Now. Pressured, Evelyn reluctantly showed photos on her phone. Dr. Davis also approached to see. Arthur looked closely. The irritations were clearly shadows from the light, small natural skin marks, or blemishes any child might have. Dr. Thorne, Dr. Davis said slowly. As an experienced doctor, these images do not show irritations caused by external agents. Evelyn realized she was losing control of the situation. Her voice became sharper. You don't understand. She's just a cleaner. She's not qualified. She doesn't deserve... Doesn't deserve what? Arthur asked, a terrible suspicion growing in his mind. Evelyn looked around, seeing that she had lost the support of her colleagues. Her professional mask finally began to crack. She doesn't deserve you. Neither you nor Sophia. I'm a doctor. I'm qualified. I've known you for years. Her voice trembled with contained emotion. And you fall for the first person who made my daughter smile, Arthur completed, finally understanding. This was never about medicine. It was about jealousy. The silence in the room was heavy. The truth was exposed. Dr. Davis shook his head in disappointment. Dr. Thorne, I will have to report this situation to the medical board for ethical investigation. Sophia, with the wisdom of children, broke the silence. Auntie Doctor, Daddy likes Amelia, and I do too. You don't have to be angry. Evelyn left the room humiliated, muttering about reviewing the case with the board. But Arthur knew she had lost all credibility. Dr. Davis approached Arthur. I'm very sorry. It seems we were misled by personal motivations. Arthur merely nodded. His priorities were clear. He approached Sophia and Amelia. Sophia, are you really feeling better? I am, Daddy. Amelia came back and the butterflies too. Arthur looked at Amelia, clear vulnerability in his eyes. And you? Can you forgive me for doubting you? Amelia smiled through her tears. I already forgave you, Arthur. The important thing is that Sophia is well. It was the first time she called him by his first name, and Arthur felt his heart race. Sophia clapped her hands, happy. Now I can take all my medicine and go home soon. Dr. Davis smiled. With that attitude, I'm sure you will. Arthur knew there were still battles to face. Evelyn might try to cause more trouble. But for now, what mattered was that Sophia was alive. She was smiling, and the woman he loved was back. Comment your thoughts below. What would you do in Arthur's situation? 3 weeks passed since the confrontation at the hospital. Sophia was still under intensive medical care, doing physiotherapy sessions 3 times a week and regular consultations to monitor her recovery. But she was visibly better. Most importantly, her spirit had completely returned. Amelia now officially worked as Sophia's therapeutic caregiver, a position Arthur created specifically for her, with a decent salary and formal contract. She accompanied Sophia to medical appointments, helped with medication, and on her free evenings, studied hospital pedagogy through online courses that Arthur paid for. Daddy, when is Amelia going to live here for real? Sophia asked during dinner, playing with a golden butterfly drawn on the back of her hand. Whenever she wants, my love, Arthur replied, exchanging a shy glance with Amelia. Their daily closeness had deepened their feelings, but gradually and respectfully. They were small moments, hands touching while helping Sophia, conversations about the future after she fell asleep, shared smiles when the girl showed her strong personality. That night, after Sophia fell asleep, Arthur and Amelia talked on the balcony. He was visibly nervous. Amelia, I know it's still early, but these have been the happiest days I've had in years, not just because Sophia is recovering, but because you're with us. Amelia blushed but smiled. Arthur, I also feel different, more complete, but I'm still afraid I won't be enough for you. You are more than enough, he whispered, gently holding her hand. The intimate moment was interrupted by the phone, ringing insistently. Arthur answered with irritation. On the other end, an unknown female voice. Mr. Harrington, my name is Clara Jones from the City News portal. I'd like to ask some questions about your relationship with Dr. Evelyn Thorne and certain irregularities in your daughter's treatment. Arthur felt his stomach drop. How did you get my personal number? I have a medical source who claims you are being manipulated by an unqualified person, putting your daughter at real risk. Can we talk? Arthur hung up abruptly, but he knew this was just the beginning. In the following days, Evelyn executed the first phase of her revenge plan with surgical precision. She could no longer attack medically. She had lost credibility at the hospital, but she could destroy reputations through public opinion. She sought out journalists who worked with sensationalist stories, offering an explosive narrative. Millionaire businessman abandons medicine for cleaner, putting cancer-stricken daughter at risk. Evelyn was skilled at manipulating facts. The butterflies became chemical substances of unknown origin. Amelia's affection turned into emotional manipulation for financial gain. Sophia's improvement was a temporary coincidence that could tragically reverse. Look at these photos. She showed the journalists images of bald Sophia, with colorful drawings on her head. A vulnerable child being used as an experiment by someone without medical training. Without the full context, the images could indeed seem concerning to those unfamiliar with the story. A week later, the first article was published online. Controversial, businessman replaces medical treatment with cleaner's alternative therapy. The text was carefully written to appear as serious journalism, but with a clear bias. The article gained traction on social media. Comments were mixed, but the negative ones were more aggressive. This is negligence. Where's the oversight? Child being used. Arthur found out when his assistant approached him, concerned. "Mr. Harrington, some clients are calling, asking about an online article, and we have some protest emails." Arthur read the article and felt a mixture of anger and apprehension. Evelyn was being smarter this time, not attacking directly, but planting seeds of doubt. He returned home and found Amelia trying not to show concern, but clearly shaken. Arthur read the comments. "Some people are saying terrible things. They're people who don't know us. They don't know Sophia. We'll ignore it." But Sophia, who was learning to read better, saw some words on her mother's phone screen. "Amy, why did they write that you're mean?" Amelia didn't know how to explain to a 7-year-old that there are people who attack without knowing the truth. A week later, Evelyn intensified the campaign. She managed to get other doctors, who did not know the case personally, to sign a letter of professional concern about unconventional treatments in pediatric oncology. The second article was more aggressive. Doctors warn, alternative treatment can put cancer-stricken child at mortal risk. This time, the repercussion was greater. Groups on social media began sharing the story with indignation. Some people even called Arthur's company, questioning his social responsibility. Arthur decided to act. He sought out Dr. Davis, who agreed to give an interview clarifying the medical facts. "Sophia is clinically stable, responding well to conventional oncology treatment, and the emotional support she receives at home is beneficial for her recovery," Dr. Davis declared to the press. But the interview had less repercussion than the sensationalist articles. The truth, as always, is less viral than controversy. Anna, the nurse, tried to help by posting a testimonial about Amelia on her social media. "I've known this woman for years. She's one of the most dedicated people I've ever met. The result is clear: a happy and healthy child." Some of Anna's colleagues shared the post, creating a small movement of support, but it was still a minority voice. Amelia, seeing the situation escalating, became genuinely concerned about the impact on Arthur and Sophia. "Perhaps I should step away for a while, until things calm down." "No!" Sophia protested, hugging Amelia. "You promised you'd stay." "My love, it's not forever. It's just to protect you." Arthur intervened, making an important decision. "No one is going to step away. We're going to face this together, as a family." It was the first time he used the word family, referring to the three of them, and the impact on Amelia was visible. Sophia smiled and drew a small butterfly on each of their hands. "Now we're a real butterfly family." That night, Arthur had an idea. If Evelyn wanted to use the media, he could too, but it had to be strategic and timed correctly. 2 weeks later, as the online controversy naturally began to lose steam, Arthur organized a press conference in his garden. He invited not only journalists but also Dr. Davis and other professionals who were monitoring Sophia. Several broadcasters attended, some out of genuine curiosity, others hoping for more controversy. Arthur appeared visibly nervous, with Sophia by his side. She insisted on participating, and Amelia, a little behind him. "Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I have called this press conference to clarify some facts about my family that have been misinterpreted or distorted." He calmly and chronologically explained the situation. Sophia's initial depressive state, Amelia's arrival, her surprising improvement, the incorrect medical information, Sophia's near relapse, and her current recovery. "My daughter wasn't dying of cancer. She's responding well to treatment. She was dying of sadness. This woman," he placed a hand on Amelia's shoulder, "brought her back to life with genuine love." Dr. Davis approached the microphone. "As the doctor responsible for the case, I can confirm Sophia is clinically stable. Her oncology treatment is progressing normally, and the emotional support she receives is a positive factor in her recovery." A journalist asked, "Mr. Harrington, there are rumors about a romantic relationship. Doesn't that compromise professional care?" Arthur hesitated for a moment, looked at Amelia, then at Sophia, who made an encouraging gesture. Want to know the truth? Yes, I fell in love with this woman. I fell in love with the way she loves my daughter, with the way she turned our house into a true home. The crowd murmured. Arthur continued, gaining confidence. And you know what else? I'm going to ask her to marry me, because I found the woman of my life and the mother my daughter chose. He turned to Amelia, who was in complete shock, and knelt right there. Amelia Clark, will you marry me? Amelia was speechless for a few seconds. Sophia screamed, "Say yes, Amy, say yes!" Amidst tears of emotion, Amelia whispered, "Yes." The moment became genuinely moving. Some journalists seemed touched by the sincerity of the scene, but Arthur knew the battle wasn't over yet. Evelyn wouldn't give up easily. Subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming stories. Like this video if you believe in love and hope. In the days following the press conference, public opinion began to divide more evenly. The video of the marriage proposal went viral, with millions of people moved, but also with critics questioning if it was a media stunt. Evelyn, furious with the change in narrative, recruited more conservative groups, claiming the situation represented parental irresponsibility and inappropriate influence in medical treatment. She gained support from some doctors who, without knowing the details, questioned dangerous precedents. The pressure continued, but now more balanced, with advocates and critics speaking out. Amelia, despite the marriage proposal, still struggled with insecurities. But this time, they were different. No longer about being good enough, but about exposing Arthur and Sophia to so much public scrutiny. Arthur, did we do the right thing? All this exposure, these discussions. Sophia should be living a normal childhood. Love, Arthur said, using the word for the first time. Sophia is living. For the first time in a long time, she is truly living. The rest is just noise. But Amelia's insecurity increased when Sophia caught a common cold. Nothing serious, just a normal cold any child would get. Evelyn, however, used this to fuel her supporters. Look, the child's health is being compromised. Dr. Davis had to give another interview explaining that colds were absolutely normal, especially in recovering children. But Amelia felt guilty. What if they were right? What if she really didn't know how to take care of her properly? Sophia, noticing Amelia's concern, had a serious conversation with her. Amy, are you scared of something? A little, sweetie. Scared of what? Scared of not knowing how to take care of you properly. Sophia thought with the seriousness children sometimes show, then drew a butterfly on Amelia's arm. You know what this is? What is it, love? It's the kindness butterfly. It says you take care of me better than anyone. And butterflies don't lie, do they? Amelia was moved, but realized something important. It wasn't the butterflies that had magical power anymore. It was the love between them. Evelyn, realizing she was gradually losing the battle for public opinion, decided to play her most serious card. She approached Child Protective Services with a formal and detailed complaint of negligence and exposure to risk. Look at this dossier. She presented a well-crafted document with photos, statements from doctors who did not know the case, and a distorted analysis of the situation. An immunosuppressed child being exposed to untested substances by an unqualified person. The Child Protective Services counselor, Mr. David Green, was an experienced professional who took all complaints seriously, but was also cautious. Dr. Thorne, I see you have legitimate concerns, but I must ask, is there evidence of actual harm to the child? The harm can be cumulative, Mr. Green. It may not appear immediately, but the risks are real. I understand. We will open an investigation process. It will be necessary to make home visits, separate interviews with the family, and a technical evaluation. Evelyn smiled internally. Even if it didn't result in Sophia's removal, the process would be traumatic and public, causing more suffering for Arthur and Amelia. Mr. Green scheduled the first visit for the following week, explaining that the process could take several weeks and would include multiple evaluations. When Arthur received the official notification, he felt the weight of the situation. It was no longer just media. It was a formal investigation that could have serious consequences. Amelia, we need to prepare. This is going to be a long process. Arthur, what if they take Sophia from us? They won't, because there's no negligence, but it will be a difficult period. Sophia, noticing the tension, asked what was happening. Arthur explained simply that some people wanted to make sure she was well cared for. But I am well cared for. You are the best parents in the world. Sophia's innocence contrasted with the complexity of the situation they faced. That night, Evelyn was in her apartment, satisfied with the progress of her plan. She had confessed nothing, remained professional, and now had an official process that would cause months of suffering for Arthur and Amelia. She still didn't know that her obsession was about to turn against her, devastatingly. 2 weeks passed since Child Protective Services initiated the formal investigation. The first home visit went well. Dr. Maria Sanchez, the social worker, was impressed with the welcoming family environment. But 2 more visits were still pending, and the process could extend for another 2 months. During this period, Arthur made a decision that surprised Amelia. On a Saturday morning, he appeared nervous with an unexpected proposal. Amelia, I want us to get married, now. What do you mean now? Before the process ends. I know it might seem rushed. Maybe it will even harm our public image. He hesitated, showing insecurity for the first time. But I can no longer pretend I'm waiting for someone's approval to love you. Sophia clapped her hands, excited. Wedding! Can I be the flower girl? Of course you can, princess. Arthur smiled. Then he became serious again. Amelia, it might be the most impulsive decision of my life. My lawyers said it could complicate the process. And you still want to? Amelia asked, touched by his vulnerability. I do. I'm tired of living in fear of what people will think. Amelia was emotional, but also concerned. Arthur, what if this is interpreted as desperation? What if they use it against us? Then we'll face it together, as a family. They decided to have a simple ceremony, just civil, at their own house, with few people, Dr. Davis, Anna, some close friends, and Sophia as the flower girl. A week later, in the mansion's garden decorated with paper butterflies Sophia had made, Arthur and Amelia got married. It was a small but sincere ceremony. I accept and promise to protect not only you, but our family, even when the whole world questions our choices, Arthur said in his vows. I accept and promise to be brave enough to deserve the love you offer me, Amelia replied. Sophia threw petals mixed with paper butterflies, shouting, Long live Daddy and Mommy! But the joy was interrupted when Anna whispered to Arthur, Someone's taking pictures from the street. Arthur saw a car parked with someone photographing. Evelyn had managed to get journalists to document the desperate wedding during an investigation. The next day, the headline confirmed his fears. Businessman rushes marriage during Child Protective Services investigation. 3 weeks after the civil wedding, Sophia was at the hospital for a routine checkup when she saw other children undergoing treatment. Some were sad, bald, isolated, and fearful. Mommy Amelia, she called for the first time officially. Why are those children sad? Amelia looked and saw children in different stages of oncology treatment. Some clearly depressed. They're going through what you went through, sweetie. They're learning to be brave. And Sophia became thoughtful. Then she had an idea that would be controversial. Mommy, can I teach them to make butterflies too? Amelia hesitated. After all the controversy, was it prudent? Sweetie, maybe it's best to let the doctors take care of them. But I know how they feel. I know they think they're ugly. When they got home, Sophia was determined. She started drawing butterflies on paper, creating a kit for other children. Daddy, I want to do a project. I want to teach the children at the hospital. Arthur was torn. On one hand, his heart warmed with his daughter's generosity. On the other, they were still under investigation. Princess, maybe we should wait for things to calm down. But they're sad now, Daddy. They can't wait. Amelia saw Arthur's dilemma and made a courageous decision. You know what? Let's talk to Dr. Davis. If he approves, we'll try. It was a risk, but Sophia's idea was so pure that they decided to risk it. Dr. Davis was initially hesitant. Arthur, you're still under investigation. Anything could be misinterpreted. Doctor, it's a child wanting to help other children. If that's interpreted negatively, the problem isn't ours. Dr. Davis smiled. You're right. Let's do a small, controlled pilot project. 2 months passed. The Child Protective Services process was finally closed, but not without complications. Evelyn tried to prolong the investigation by presenting new documents, but all were deemed irrelevant. The Butterflies of Hope project started small. Only 5 children, twice a week, with strict medical supervision. But the results were undeniable. The participating children showed improvement in mood and treatment adherence. Hi, I'm Sophia, she said to a 6-year-old girl named Beatrice, clearly shy. Do you want to learn to be a butterfly? But I don't have hair, Beatrice whispered. I didn't either. I'll show you a secret. Butterflies don't need hair to be beautiful. Sophia drew a small pink butterfly on Beatrice's hand. This is the courage butterfly. It will help you when you're scared. Beatrice smiled shyly. It was a small but real step forward. Amelia, now certified in hospital pedagogy, coordinated the project carefully. She documented each session, each progress, building scientific evidence of the positive impact. Anna, are we really making a difference? Amelia asked, still insecure about her new role. Amelia, in 15 years of nursing, I've never seen children react like this to a support program. You are saving souls. Arthur, initially cautious about expenses due to public pressure, decided to invest his own resources to expand the project, but encountered bureaucratic resistance. Mr. Harrington, the hospital director said, the project is beautiful, but we need approvals, licenses, medical protocols. Reality hit. Creating an institute wasn't just about goodwill and money. 6 months after the civil wedding, when the legal situation was finally resolved, Arthur surprised Amelia. I want to renew our vows. A real party. Arthur, we're already married, and after all the controversy, is a big celebration prudent? Precisely because of the controversy. I want to show that we don't hide from our love. Sophia, now 8 years old with beautiful curly hair growing in, was euphoric. Can I wear a princess dress? The vow renewal was scheduled for the mansion's garden. Arthur invited 100 people. Not the 200 he would have liked, but a respectful celebration, considering the circumstances. On the day of the ceremony, doctors, nurses, families of the project children, and some journalists who had changed their minds about the story attended. Amelia wore a simple but elegant dress. Sophia, as the flower girl, carried a basket with paper butterflies. 1.5 years ago, Arthur said in his vows, I thought I had lost everything. Today, I know that God was preparing me for something greater, a family chosen by the heart. Arthur, Amelia replied, you taught me that true love is worth any fight. Sophia asked to speak. I want to thank you for teaching me that family isn't just who you're born with, it's who you choose to stay with. It was a genuinely emotional moment, but not perfect. It rained a little, some paper butterflies flew with the wind, and not all guests seemed completely convinced. But for Arthur, Amelia, and Sophia, it was perfect just the way it was, real, a human, full of love. And full. A year after the vow renewal, the family's life was transformed, but not without challenges. The Butterflies of Hope project now served 20 children in 2 hospitals, but Arthur was facing financial difficulties to maintain everything alone. Amelia, I need to be honest. I can no longer finance the entire project. We'll need to seek partnerships, donations. Arthur, this isn't failure, it's growth. Programs like this need community support. Amelia, now specialized in art therapy, was gaining regional recognition, but still faced resistance from some skeptical doctors. Dr. Clark, an oncologist, said at a meeting, "Your results are interesting, but we need more scientific studies before approving expansion." Sophia, now 8.5, was more mature, but still a child. "Mommy, why don't some doctors like the Butterflies?" "Because they want to make sure it really helps, sweetie, and it's okay. We'll prove it." That night, Arthur and Amelia talked about the challenges. "Sometimes I'm afraid this is all too big for us," Amelia confessed. "If it's too big, we'll make it smaller. The important thing is to keep going." But they knew Evelyn was still out there, watching, waiting for an opportunity. 2.5 years after Amelia and Sophia first met, the family received a surprise. The Butterflies of Hope project was selected for presentation at the Regional Pediatric Oncology Congress. "Daddy, will I have to speak to the doctors?" Sophia asked nervously. "Only if you want to, Princess. You can just accompany us." "I want to. I want to tell them about the butterflies." On the day of the presentation, the auditorium had 100 people. It wasn't national, but it was an important recognition. Sophia, now 8.5, went on stage wearing a simple blue dress. "Hi, doctors," she began, still shy. "I wanted to tell you that one day I thought I was ugly because I lost my hair because of medicine." She pointed to Amelia in the audience. "Then Amelia taught me that butterflies are born from caterpillars, so when we lose our hair, we're actually turning into butterflies." The audience smiled, touched by her simplicity. "Today my hair is back," Sophia continued. "But I know that if I need to be bald again, I'll still be beautiful. And now I can teach other children too." The audience applauded. Dr. Davis, at the head table, was moved. "I wanted to tell the doctors, thank you for taking care of us. And that's it." Sophia finished adorably and childishly. The ovation was warm, but not deafening. It was real. After the presentation, a journalist asked, "Sophia, what is your dream?" Sophia thought seriously, then replied, "I want all sick children to have people who love them, and for doctors to know that hugs also help to heal." From the back of the auditorium, a figure watched the scene. Evelyn was there, uninvited, but unable to resist witnessing the moment. For the first time in years, she was confronted with reality. Sophia was healthy, loved, and making a difference in the lives of other children. Arthur had found true love. Amelia had become a respected professional. When the family left the auditorium, Evelyn approached for the first time in months. "Arthur!" He turned, surprised. Amelia instinctively protected Sophia. "Evelyn, I wanted to apologize for what I did to you, to Sophia." It was the first time she admitted guilt. Arthur looked at her with a mixture of pity and firmness. "Evelyn, you almost destroyed my family, not for medicine, but for jealousy. I know, and I'll have to live with that forever." Sophia, with the curiosity of children, asked, "Who is she, Daddy?" "She's someone who was lost, Princess, but now perhaps she's finding her way." Evelyn walked away, not defeated, but finally aware of the harm she had caused. For the first time, she felt genuine remorse. Arthur picked up Sophia and hugged Amelia. The three stood there, in the hospital garden, where it all began, with real butterflies flying around. Not in perfect timing, but as a natural part of life. the legacy of the butterflies would continue. Not because it was magical, but because it represented something real. The transformation that genuine love can bring to people's lives. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this story with your friends. What did you think of the ending? Let us know in the comments.